All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, you see it on the screen here. We're going to be going over some blue decks from over in the East. Pretty interesting stuff going on, where it looks like they've discovered a core package of cards that just kind of goes in between any leader that has blue. And even in the case of Zoro and Sanji that you see on the far right there, you know, decks that have blue and another color can probably still run it and get some type of benefit from it. But the package we're talking about, we'll go into it more once we get into the video, but the package we're talking about is the 7 Warlords of the Sea package, and it is very, very strong. It has a lot of strength to it. So that's what we're getting into. Just kind of give a layout. I've been trying to give a layout in the beginning of these videos so y'all know what to expect. First, we're going to look at some decks from the East that are doing well in tournaments over there, like, you know, smaller tournaments. There still has not been a big tournament over in the East for whatever reason. I don't know when the next one's going to be either. I'll have to check into it. But I really want to see what's winning at the highest levels. Excuse me. But we're going to look at some of the winning lists over in the East for decks that are running blue. And some pretty cool stuff's going on, I will say. Because like I said, there's like a core package that you can split between any of these 3 leaders on the screen and have pretty good results. So that's going to be what we're going to go over first is the decks from the East. Then we're going to go over some games on the sim where I'm playing each one of these leaders with the exact same deck. I don't change a single card. I just change the leader in between them. And then in the very end, we'll talk about it, final thoughts, and we'll go over the deck that I'm running. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Y'all know what y'all are getting into now. So first up, I do have to say that there is a tournament I'll be hosting on, let me full screen this, weekly tournament on Sunday. Me and Joey from Heart Pirates TCG, we are going to be hosting these webcam weekly tournaments. Again, this is Sunday, and I believe they're at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, EST. They're $10 to enter. They are webcam tournaments. We will have like a judge that looks over, like someone who's actually a judge. And this weekend, so tomorrow, at the day of me recording this video, it's going to be tomorrow, that Joey won't be there for this weekend. He usually will be with me, right? Like we will usually be able to tag team this together, but he will be at a tournament out of town. I think he's in Texas right now, so he won't be able to make it back in time for this tournament. So I'm going to be soloing it. If you guys can, please stop by and support it. It'll be my first time streaming on YouTube, so that should be pretty interesting, and it will be over this webcam tournament. So just to give you guys a quick heads up there, definitely check out this website if you have not already, moonlighttcg.com. Like I said, there's weekly tournaments, there's upcoming tournaments, a shop, and tournament results. It's a great place to go if you're serious about One Piece, or if you just enjoy it. Okay. Now that that's over with, guys, got to check out the deck. We got to check out these winning lists from the East. This is a 7-1 first place Boa Hancock deck. All of these lists are pretty much identical. Like probably 25 to 30 cards are just completely identical. So let me just run through it real fast, then we'll compare it to the other two. Gecko Moria, this is the one from ST03, by the way, that gets back a 4-cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea card or a Thriller Bark card. But there aren't really any of those yet. The Thriller Bark for blue is not really a big theme just yet. But there are a few cards that I think there's another Gecko Moria that it can get or something like that. Well, actually, this one cannot get a Gecko Moria, so never mind. Anyway, so it's got a Doflamingo, 4 Doflamingo, 4 Kaya, 4 Kaido, 2 Charlotte Pudding. This is a new 2K counter that allows you to return it back to your hand. So that'll allow your hand size to go down to use your leader's effect, and then you get it right back to your hand. And it's a 2K counter, very solid. 4 Charlotte Pudding, this card is just incredible utility. If you're running a blue deck without Charlotte Pudding, you're probably doing it wrong, right? Like unless your deck has a very specific theme that it has to stick to. 4 of the new 2K counter Croc, 4 of Jinbei. This helps cheat out a card like Doflamingo does, the Doflamingo leader. 4 Sengoku, this is allowing you to search up 7 Warlords of the Sea type cards. This is a new 2K counter from OP07. This is Trafalgar Law. He has Activate Main. You may return this character to its owner's hand, and then if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, place 1 card from their hand to the bottom of their deck. So very solid. This is a new Boa Hancock. This card is outrageously good. 6 costs 8K, so it's vanilla statted, but instead of having a counter, it has the effect of making a character not able to attack the next turn, and it can bottom deck a 1 or less in the process. Then you have 4 Red Rocks in this list and 4 Raging Tigers, Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. This card is just so good, guys. Now, keep all that in mind. We're going to go straight over, and we'll talk about it in a second, because I want to show you, here's the Doflamingo list that is very, very similar. This one's running 4 of the Mihawks. This one doesn't care about the you know, how do I say it, the utility 2K counters. It just wants 7 Warlords of the Sea 2K counters. So it's got the 4 Draco Mihawks instead of the Kaya. It's got the Gecko Morias, only 2 of these, 2 Kaidos, 4 Doflamingo here, 4 Perona, 4 of the, this is the Thriller Bark blue Gecko Moria I was talking about. But unfortunately, he can't get himself back, so you can't even get that card. 4 Charlotte Pudding, 4 of Edward Weevil. This is a new EB01 7 Warlords of the Sea, 7 Warlords of the Sea character that has on play draw card. It's a 4-cost 6K. It's absolutely perfect for what Dofi's doing. This is that 2K counter. 4 of the Crocodile, 4 Jinbei, 4 Law. So notice the 2K counter suite that you have now in the 7 Warlords of the Sea package. 4 Mihawks, that's a 4-cost 5K, 4 Crocodile, 4-cost 5K, and 4 Trafalgar Law, 4-cost 4K. And they're all 2K counters. You can get them all back. You can play them all out with Jinbei or the Leader's Effect. Just incredible, incredible stuff there. 4 of the Boa Hancock in this list, 2 Red Rocks, 2 Raging Tigers, and 2 Perfume Femurs. This list, I think, is the best overall out of all the lists we're going to look at, and I use this for the list throughout the video. The only thing I changed is I went down 2 Kaidos, and I went up 2 Gecko Moria, because I just don't think this is what we're trying to do. I don't know. I think it's a good card, but you'll see in the video what I'm talking about. I like to be a little more aggressive in my style with the deck. Okay, and then last but not least, Zoro and Sanji. And these were all winning decks from over in the East. Like, you know, smaller tournaments, but look, this one was a flagship. This one was a store battle, and this one was a store preliminary tournament, 7-1 for this one. And all the lists are very, very close. So going over the Zoro and Sanji list, he's running the Mihawks, the Morias, the Doflamingos. He's running everything we saw from before, but he's throwing in this card. This is a card that I was experimenting with as well. It's a 3-cost 3K, 1K counter, 7 Warlords of the Sea type character, and Revolutionary Army, as random as that is. But on play, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 7 Warlords of the Sea type card, and add it to your hand, and place the rest of the top or bottom of the deck in any order. At the top or bottom of the deck in any order. Really good utility on this card. It allows you to do a lot of things with the top of deck stuff. What else? He's running 4 of the 10-cost Doflamingo, so if it makes it a late game, you just plop this down and lock their board down so you can get 1 extra turn to set up your combos. 4 of the... This is one of the 3K counters that... Or excuse me, 2K counters that this deck uses. Instead of running the... actually, goodness gracious, look at this, guys. 16 2K counters in this list. 4 Mihawk, 4 Crocodile, 4 Law, and 4 Mihawk. The 3-cost green Mihawk. That's incredible. It's running Perfume Femur. I didn't even talk about that really in the last list. We already know what Red Rock and Gravity Blade Raging Tiger does, but for those who don't know what Perfume Femur does, this is a 2-cost main. Up to 1 of your 7 Warlords of the C-type leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn, and your opponent cannot activate blocker when the selected card attacks. So understand what that does with a leader like Zoro and Sanji. You can put that on a... You're going to have to use a 5,000 power character in order to restand it with this character's effect. But look at this, guys. Your opponent can activate... Well, yeah, so whenever this card attacks, that's for the rest of the turn. So if you put it on like this... Let's just say you put it on this Mihawk... Or actually, never mind. Let's just do this Gecko Moria. If you put that on here, he will be a 7,000 unblockable, and you'll be able to swing twice with him using this leader's effect. Just absolutely insanely powerful. And then this one's also running You Can Be My Samurai. You may rest 2 of your characters and draw 2 cards. I don't know how I feel about this card, but clearly this deck did very well. It got first place in a flagship. So, you know, that I still need to play with this card. I haven't really run it in anything yet. I haven't really tried it. I've only kind of theorized with it, and it just... I don't know, for some reason it doesn't seem good to me. But I guess when you have this card down already, and maybe a card like this, you can swing out with one of your bigger characters, and then bounce back one of the cards that you rested to get another effect out of it. Draw 2 cards in the process, you know, when you were doing this, and then you'll have it back in your hand, so they can't KO it when it's rested. See, it seems pretty good. Pretty good stuff there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Like, now that y'all see like the core of the list, I'm actually going to show the deck list that I'm running is actually the Doflamingo list. And notice I don't have a leader selected because, like I was saying earlier, you can just swap out this leader, Zoro and Sanji, Boa Hancock, or Doflamingo, wherever he is. There he is. With this list, you don't have to. I didn't change a single card. This is the deck list I'm running for every single game that we're going to look at. We're going to look at 3 games of this deck in action, and just the leader changes. That's it. So, and by the way, if you do want to make it a specific leader, then you can make the changes. Like if you're going to go Zoro and Sanji, you can switch out a few pieces, like to add the green Mihawks, the Doflamingos, and stuff like that. There's options once you choose on a leader you want to get set on. But this package of cards here, guys, is just so versatile. I think whoever came up with this, I know a lot of decks are running this now, but this core package here is very strong, guys. Because like I said, it works good with Boa, it works good with Dofi, it works good with Blue Green Zoro and Sanji. So let's go ahead and hop into it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, so first game up here. Let me move my face before I forget. All right. And let me also lower it there. Okay, and now let me hit play. Let's get it on 2x speed. We're there. And volume is off, right? Yeah, volume's off. So the first game here is pretty interesting. It's Boa Hancock versus Nami. And guys, I have to tell you right now, that card I have in my hand there, the second one on the right, now the third one on the right, Pudding is actually so good against Nami. And this was an aggressive Nami list. If this was just a standard Nami list, I would have destroyed this. Like, it would not even have been close. I would have probably won the game with them still having like 40 cards in their deck. But this was an aggressive list. It's running the Rush Usopps. He's attacking every turn with his Nami. He's running the Zephs. Like, this was a really cool, a really cool list for Nami. And I go down to like 1 or 0 life in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry for the spoiler warning. But it's one of those games where I was like, whoa, there you go. Gravity Blade Raging Tiger is probably going to be the MVP of every single game that you're going to watch today, because it is just so good. I just got rid of the Zeph and the Usopp. He gets no benefit from that. And what does that card do against Nami? It bottom decks them. So he just went back like 2 turns drawing cards. It's actually so good, guys. And then on top of that, like I was saying, back to Pudding, excuse me, this guy's just running at me. Y'all see this, guys? Excuse me. So with Pudding, I'm going to let him get to 10 or 11 cards in hand, and then I'm going to play out Pudding, and 5 cards are going to go back into his deck. Like, do y'all see how strong that is? I don't know how many people here play against Nami very often, but that is extremely, that is devastating against Nami. Not only is it losing 5 cards that were potentially answers and getting a totally random shuffled hand, but those 5 cards that you're losing, they're not getting trashed. They're going to the bottom of the deck. So Pudding is like it's low-key, it is a counter to Nami. It is actually just so good. And so is another card. I think it's Gion, or it's either the new Gion or the new Suru card from Navy. I can't remember. It's a 2K counter, too. That's another good one as well. So this is how you play against Nami. You just fill out the board, fill out the board, and fill out the board, and you just weather the storm. Now, right here, they're at 11 cards in hand or 10 cards in hand, and it's like, okay, I'm going to dump their hand with Nami next turn, or excuse me, with Pudding, and they are going to, I'm going to be in the driver's seat of this game. Notice I'm at 2 life, though. This guy, like I said, he is aggressively attacking me. I'm letting him have the leader attacks because he only gets to mill the top card of his deck when he does the leader attack with 1 or more Dawn attached to it. I'm not really too worried about that because I'm bottom decking cards left and right, and I'm about to hit him with a Pudding right here. Okay, so he has 28 cards. He swings in for 8. I take that. He gets to mill a card. My turn. And notice, like I said, notice what he has right now. I think he has like 10 or 11 cards in hand. And I just hit him with a Pudding. All those cards. He was down to 28 cards. Now he's back up to 32 or 33 cards in his deck. That is more dangerous than it sounds. That is more deadly than it sounds, guys. It's very powerful. Swing in with Edward Weevil here. I want to go Weevil. I want to swing all out on the board here and then replace the Pudding with another Boa Hancock because I want to get bigger and bigger attacks on the board slowly but surely while also slowing down these characters that are rushing in at me and trying to get me to mill 7 cards. For those who don't know what the Usopp does that I just hit with my Boa, that card is a 4-cost 5,000 power rush card, and it has Dawn ×1. If this deals damage, like if it actually hits your leader, you mill 7 cards. And guys, notice my hand right now. I have 2, 4, 6 2K counters and 2 cards that can get back the 2K counters from the trash while establishing a 5K body. So I am not going to let him win the game like this, right? I'm not going to let him do it. His only chance of beating me right now is through aggro. Now, right here, he swings for 8, so I'm just going to get out of that. His only chance of beating me right here is by actually running me over and using aggro, because I'm just stopping him, right? I'm just making it where he cannot, mill out. Because I've thrown 5 cards back to his deck, and because I've pushed back so many of these other cards like Usopp and Zeph. He just can't. He can't really deal with it. So there he hits me with a Death Wink. That really stinks. But at the same time, it's like, okay, then I'm going to replay out that card. And there's another turn that you cannot attack me with the Usopp. So honestly, I don't think he should have sent back. Maybe sent back an Edward Weevil, but not my Boa Hancock there. Because I still have 9 Dawn. I'm going to hit him with Boa here and Doflamingo. So there you go. I'm going to set my top 5 cards to exactly what I want. I think I actually get rid of these. Yeah, I sent those all back to the bottom. I didn't like that. But now I've got a blocker. Your other guy can't attack. You only have 1 attack this turn. And I'm sitting on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,000 power and counter power with 1 life left. He bounces my character there. Swings in for 5. Right here, I think, yeah, I 1K counter out of this. Excuse me. And I'm starting to realize I need to win the game soon because he's about to literally just like military, attack me off the, off out of the game right here. So I come in for like, I think I have 7, 7, 9, 9, 7 lined up for him, depending on what he does here. Okay, so 7 got 2 cards out of hand. Deathwink's gone. He has 1 Dawn left. 9, 9. So right here I consider going all in. And I'm like, what if he has a Gum Gum Giant Gavel? That will give him +4, and he'll trash a card. And if the remaining cards are 2Ks, look at that, one of them was a Kaya. Excuse me. Then I would have lost then I could have potentially lost the game there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even trying that. He Baroque Brick Fist my cards out of the way there, and right here I'm like 2K, 2K. Right here, I've won the game. He attacks me for 5. I'm like, perfect. I have way more than enough to counter out of this. I'm going to make him overextend, and he probably didn't have another choice, but I'm going to make him swing all out with his Zeph as his only chance, and I'm going to win through that. That was a really interesting Nami deck. I thought it was really cool, and I like how it was more of an aggressive military version, like aggro version, where you're actually getting to play against your opponent, and you're not just getting milled out of the game. But then it has the switch condition of being able to mill you out of the game, if... Oops, where's the? There we go. If you don't, if they can't beat you in the normal way. Okay, next up we got Blue Doflamingo versus Red Purple Law. Volume's off. Let me get the speed up to 2x. Okay, let me check one more time. There we go. We're good. Okay, so Red Purple Law is becoming a very aggressive deck. It's one of those decks that's like, if it sees people call it high rolling. It's called a high roll because, like, I think the term comes from like Dungeons and Dragons. You might roll a 20. That's a high roll, right? If you can high roll with this deck and just draw a really strong answer after answer after answer, it's one of the hardest decks in the game to beat, and it really is like one of the most consistent decks in that way. And it's generally speaking, it's a consistent deck. I should have said it that way. But if you can high roll as well, it becomes very, very powerful. Okay, so I'm playing out of Perona here. I'm setting the cards to the way that I want them. I'm going to be able to swing with my leader this turn to get the effect, so I want to make sure I get everything done correctly. So right here I swing 7. It doesn't really matter what I swing because he can block it with Shariah, like, very easily. But I use out my, excuse me, I use out that Crocodile to return Perona so I can get another usage out of that later. That's a really nice interaction. I'm a big fan of Blue Doflamingo in OP07 when it has this full 7 Warlords of the Sea package. And as usual, guys, I'm kind of just, going with the flow, talking. If there's a card you don't know what it does, just ask down in the comment section below, or if you're curious. I make mistakes too, guys. If you see a mistake that I made, by all means say, hey, why did you do this play instead of this one? Sometimes I just miss it, guys. It is what it is, because this is just me playing on the sim. All right, so right here, this card is incredible, guys. The new 6 cost 8,000 power Boa Hancock. Because watch this. Okay, so I swing 6, he takes it. So it's like, okay, well, now you can't attack with that Beppo. I bottom decked Rotama. That part doesn't really matter. And now I have a 6 cost 8,000 power character that's going to be able to start attacking in your board or your face the next turn. I'm still at 5 life and I have 6 cards in hand. So while it does look like he's in a good position, but it's not as bad as it looks right now because I'm actually kind of in control of this game. Okay, so I play out my Jinbei, which allows me to cheat out this Doflamingo. I'm going to set my top life cards, and I'm about to match him on the board while having a pretty full hand, and also, being able to just match his aggression here. So he takes the 8. I should have swung with my leader first, just because of the way that Shariah works, but it's not really a big deal. It is what it is. So right here, you can just go block with Shariah, and then 1K counter out. That's how that card works. for those who don't know how Shariah works, excuse me, that card has on attack and on block, this character's power becomes the power of, you know, your opponent's leader. So it's really nice. That card is very good for blocking out of big attacks from like Yamato, blocking out of attacks from like Luffy. It is a very strong card. So I play out the Edward Weevil, play out the Perona. I've set everything the way I want it. I'm feeling pretty good about this game, like all things considered. I'm not too worried about him taking this Weevil here. That just ate up an attack. He can't swing with Ace because he's not a Whitebeard Pirates. Like the leader has to be Whitebeard Pirates to get the Ace's rush effect. He swings 5 into Boa. I'm not going to let him have that easily. He's going to have to, yeah, I'll say he's going to have to put more into it, and then I'm going to use my blocker. Let's see what he does here. Okay, that was really strong. That was a really, really good play, removing my character like that, getting the extra Dawn to swing 7 into 5, but I'm not letting him have Boa. That would be too much at this stage of the game. I need to keep him on a clock. Like, I need to keep the pressure on him. So right here, I need to see what he's going to give me. I swing 8 into 6. He's probably going to use the purple 4-cost Trafalgar Law here. That's another thing, guys. When you're playing against Red Purple Law in OP07, you need to be playing around that card right there that just got KO'd. The 4-cost 5K purple Trafalgar Law. Because that thing will hit your cards in hand, and you don't want that. Okay, now, right here, I'm just testing the waters. I want to see what happens here. 5 into 5 on Shariah. He lets it go. So I'm like, okay, that's crazy. Let's see what he has in hand here. Okay, I play that out. Now the game's over, right? Like, pretty much. I mean, I'm not saying he can't win. He actually still can win this, to be honest. But after what happened there, that was devastating. Okay, I'm going to 1K counter out of that every single time. 7 into 2, or 7 into 5, I can't counter out of that, unfortunately. He gets out of Beppo, and I'm good there. Like, I'm safe. All right, so right here, time to start going life. So swing 7, because he only has 1 card in hand. So swing 7, swing 9, swing 13. Good game. No way out of it. That was a math win. He couldn't escape. This deck feels really, really strong. The blue Doflamingo in OP07. That's probably going to be one of the first blue decks that I ever actually play. Like, blue, I play blue when it's in conjunction with like black or yellow, like, because it is like the third of my out of all 6 colors in the game, blue is like my 3rd favorite color. Black and yellow are now tied for first for me. For a long time it was black before yellow was even in the game. But now yellow I'm starting to really like it a lot, and not for the trigger reasons. Y'all know what I mean. It's just like it is when you're playing like the black yellow Luffy. That's pretty much an all yellow deck. When you're playing that deck, it requires quite a bit of skill. It's not just like a straight luck deck or anything like that. It actually requires skill. Okay, so 2x speed, we're good there. Volume's off. Final game, blue-green, Zoro and Sanji versus Bonnie. Pay close attention to this game, guys. I'm going to show you how to deal with Basil Hawkins in this game. Because for those who are not aware, by the way, this first part's just boring. We're just trying to get past the early stages of the game. I didn't get a Perona, so, you know, I just got to keep going. For those who are not aware, Basil Hawkins' removal effect, where, like, okay, so Basil Hawkins has the ability to not be removed from play for whatever reason once per turn by resting your opponent's character. They have to be able to rest a character. Okay, the OP07 Q&A is out on it, so whatever the translation reads on there, he does have to be able to rest a character if you want to save him from a removal effect. Okay, so that's something you have to, you know, really notice in this game. So I'm going to swing 6 at life. He can't use his leader's effect here. I'm going to make it where Basil Hawkins cannot attack this turn because I have a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger in hand. That card is a 7 cost that gets rid of 2 6 or less cards. Guess what I'm going to target this upcoming turn here. Swings me for 6. I need to keep my health kind of high because he can go crazy with Hody Jones later in the game. Okay, so right here, guys, my plan is to keep 7 Dawn active, and then I'm just going to swing out with my entire board. Okay, let's see what he does. So swing 6. He rests my Boa Hancock there. I'm like, okay, sure. And now I'm going to swing 5 with my Doflamingo. Because remember, actually, let me go back real quick and pause it. So I have it on. This is the card I'm talking about. Basil Hawkins on the right here. Let me put the glasses on. If your leader has Supernova in its types, which Bonnie does, this character gains blocker. So he's an incredibly powerful blocker. And listen to this. Once per turn, if this character were to be removed from play by one of your opponent's effects, not in battle, but effects, you may instead rest one of your opponent's characters. Well, here's the thing. According to the rules, again, unless something changes in the future, according to the rules right now, and according to the sim as well, if he has no character to rest, then he's going bye-bye. He can't save himself from the removal. Now, he cannot target leaders, so I don't have to attack with my leader yet, but he cannot, if he has no character on the board to rest, then I can get rid of him with removal. Okay, and that is a big, big deal. So swing 5 at leader. I'm tempting him to block with one of these guys. He doesn't do it, so I go ahead and hit him with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger to hit his Cavendish and his Basil Hawkins. That play right there, guys, was probably what's going to set me up to win this game. Like that one play right there. Because I set him back 2 turns of development and got rid of one of his cards that he needs to survive. Okay, swing 7 into that. I'm not going to defend that. I wish I could, but I can't. Okay, he's got 2 Dawn active. He's going to swing 5 into me. I have to take this one. I don't want to get rid of these cards in my hand. And here we go, guys. Same strategy here, where it's like, okay, I'm going to swing... Let me see. I think I swing 5. Yep. I swing 5 into there, and I want to see what he gives me. Because I think what he should have done here actually was, you know, I would have probably used my Basil Hawkins to at least block something here. But that's okay. He rests my leader. So now I'm going to swing... I'm trying to clear up the board here. I'm doing a little bit of math in my head. It's like, okay, I really want to get rid of this guy here. And now I'm going to red rock his Basil Hawkins off the board, play out my Doflamingo, set my life cards to what I want. Look at that perfect set there where I can draw a card. Just really, really good stuff there. I'm in the driver's seat now, right? If he has another Basil Hawkins, it was one of those situations where it's like, oh, well, you know, what do you do? But now that card is off the field, Bonnie really depends on having that card in play so that it can make it into the later stages of the game more comfortably. Well, guys, right here, I'm actually threatening lethal right now if he could not rest my leader. Because remember what Zoro does. He can stand up one of your characters that has 7,000 power or less. So Bonnie uses the leader effect to rest my leader, which is a very good play. Okay, so right here, I am worried right here that he is going to win the game next turn. Because I know this deck runs Hody Jones. He has no way of defending. My board is massive. I have 2 blockers. It's the perfect Hody Jones turn here, but it's not going to be enough. So I'm like, okay, let me bait him into going for face. And GG. The game's over. I've won. He's completely tapped out. I'm going to be able to swing, I think, 9, 7, 7, 7, 6, 8. Like, there is no shot he survives here. So 9, 9, and then, like, all 7s across the board, like, 3 times. It's crazy. So, good stuff there. For those who are wondering how to deal with Basil Hawkins and what green is doing, blue is probably your best answer. Blue is more than likely your best answer because of the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger and Red Rock. Very, very strong answers. Just make sure you do it correctly. You have to make sure all your characters are already rested in order to hit their Basil Hawkins properly. Okay, and by the way, Red Rock can even deal with the card he has on top of his library right now in the Eustace Kid. Okay, so that's that. Let me go over the deck one more time. We'll just do some final thoughts here. And let me go to... There we go. Guys, this is making me someone who really enjoys playing blue when I play a deck like this that has this much potential to just... Look at all the card draw, guys. It's running 4 of this guy. He's a 4-cost 6K that draws you a card. You're setting up at the top of your life with these Peronas. You have incredible tech choices in inputting. This helps deal with Nami. You know, Red Rock and Gravity Blade Raging Tiger help you deal with everything else. Honestly, I don't know if this card is... I might go down to a straight-up 1 of this card. The trigger's nice, though. Trigger to draw a card. Because I don't really need this card, right? I don't need to be able to get through them, especially if I'm playing blue-green Zoro and Sanji. I can just run them over a few times, you know what I mean, with a few cards. But it is kind of like a cute idea, right? Like, okay, I'll just sneak through for 7, stand the guy up while swinging for 7 with my leader, and then I'll, like, put all the rest of my Dawn on the guy that I made unblockable and just bash straight through them. Like, it's a cute idea. But I'd rather just completely control the board, whether I'm playing Zoro and Sanji, Doflamingo, or Boa Hancock. I'd rather just have the full control of the board. Boa Hancock, if you're going to run this leader, you should absolutely go up in the Red Rocks and the Raging Tigers, because whenever you're removing cards from the field with your effects on your turn, you're drawing cards from it if your hand size is at 5 or less. So with Boa Hancock, you're going to want to favor the decks that have a little more removal. And this isn't, I mean, you can still run this in there, you know what I mean? But you probably wouldn't need a card like this in Boa Hancock. Now, with the Doflamingo list, this is literally the copy-pasted version of the Doflamingo deck that we looked at. This is the list. So I don't really have anything to say here. This is specifically catered for Don Quixote Doflamingo. But for like I was saying, for Boa Hancock, you don't have to do much. You just throw out these 4 6K vanilla Gecko Morias and just go up your 2 removal cards. And I would even say you could probably go down like a Pudding and a Perfume Femur to go up the Kaidos, because I think that deck really favors going the big Kaido. I don't know if I would, though, honestly. Like the more I think about it, because you already have ways to draw cards with your Leader's Effect if you're getting low on cards. It is nice to have, like, maybe a Mihawk, and it would be better there, just more and more removal while establishing bigger bodies, maybe even Borsalino or something like that. We'll have to see it. And you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Doflamingo, this deck is perfect for him. You can just copy-paste this one. And then last but not least, Zoro. This is the deck I was using for him, but you can improve this deck into what we were showing on the, what I showed on the actual, the decks that were winning. You can go way more aggressively into the green stuff. Like, well, not aggressively. You can go way more into the like the aggro version of the deck, running like the Mihawks that allow you to cheat cards out. The only problem with Mihawk, I will say this: there's only one card you can actually. Well, I don't know. Excuse me. There are 3 cards you can cheat out with the 3-cost Mihawk. You can cheat out the Edward Weevil, this guy here, Mihawk, the 4-cost Mihawk, and the 4-cost Trafalgar Law. So there is something to be said there. That is something. And here's the card I'm talking about. Let me show you guys real quick, in case there's any confusion. I'm talking about this guy. He cannot throw out a Mihawk. So he would not be able to throw out the 4-cost 5K, 2K counter version of himself. But if you have 2 or less characters in play up to 1 4-cost or lower Shigeru Kingdom, or I think it's like Mugi Bar or something on the other translations. I have no idea. Or a slash trait character card other than Mihawk from your hand rested. So you do have 2 targets, and maybe that's what you'd want to replace this with. Like maybe, actually, excuse me, you'd probably want to replace Perona here with the 2-cost version of it, the Usopp. There's a, hang on. Sorry guys, I got to show you all the cards I'm talking about. This card would be your Perona if you wanted to go more in the blue-green route. And then, I would change out one of these 2K counters, probably just this 2K counter, since you can't combo it with what we're saying. Just change this 2K counter out with the Mihawk we were just looking at. The, whoops. There we go. With the green Mihawk, and you're pretty much ready to go. Or, as usual, guys, you can always just copy the deck right off of OnePieceTopDecks.com. Guys, tongue twisters and everything today. Okay. That's about it, guys. I don't really have much else to say. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was a fun one to. This was a really fun deck to play because, like I said, it was just totally interchangeable across 3 different leaders. And honestly, whenever stuff like that happens, when you find like this core package, like I feel like Yellow had that core package for a while, like where Enel and Katakuri were very similar, but you might swap out a few things here and there. Blue's the deck that Blue is running in OP07 is just solid across the board, so solid that it's not even really getting much change when you swap in another color for it, like in the blue-green Zoro and Sanji deck or leader. So yeah, that's about it. All right, guys, that's it for now. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And as usual, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. All right, guys, until next time. Peace.